Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. Yep.
Meghan Markle chose not to put in an official statement because she knows she would get into a lot of legal trouble and she needed plausible deniability. The evidence has been staring at us in the face and they've been trying to hide it from us.
They quite literally have no talent.
She suffers from such a rare disorder of being unable to just be a human.
And Meghan Markle's surrogacy scandal has entered the mainstream media domain.
It sounds fake.
In this case, about whether you think the birth was real, whether you think there was a surrogate, whether you think Meghan was wearing a moon bump, the fact is Harry and Meghan lied. Buckingham Palace lied on their behalf. There was a complete cover-up over the birth of Prince Archie.
I can't stand the inauthenticity. It has to stop. I tried with you, Meghan, really. You gotta pick a lane, you gotta stay in it, okay? That's all I'm saying.
Concerns over the treatment of Prince Archie in a bombshell post on X.
Where therapists sit across from you and tell you that every little thing that ever happened to you makes you a special victim, and no matter how horrendous you act, once you receive that status of victimhood, everyone must understand. And that was the thing for me that I thought was just so disgusting.
If she hasn't had the children herself, or Harry hadn't been involved, then they can't be in the royal line. They have to have royal blood, those little ones. Without that, there's no chance of them becoming a member of the royal family.
I obviously knew that they would end up in LA because that was Meghan's dream. Her dream was to be an A-lister.
If you go back and you look throughout Meghan Markle's entire career, she never wanted people to know that she was...
Never, ever in the history of the world has there been a couple that has grifted as hard and as successfully as they have, right? You just grifted off of your family.
Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, giving us this information because we don't know what's going on. To this day, we don't know where the child was born, where Archie was born, who the doctors were, which is absolutely insane. Harry and Meghan Markle's children are in the line of succession without verification. They are the only children in the history of the monarchy that their origins are not verified nor confirmed.
She's saying, you need proof that I'm authentic? I just dropped myself twerking. Obviously, I'm authentic. So she's bringing that up to say there is now PR. I have proven that I am authentic.
Candace Owens has never been one to hold back, but this time she came in swinging harder than anyone expected. She didn't warm up, didn't tease what was coming. She opened her show with a line so powerful that the internet stopped mid-scroll. If this new information about Archie and Lilibet is accurate, she said, then Meghan Markle has been hiding something far bigger than we've ever imagined. And that sentence? It cracked the internet in half. Everyone felt it, that chill you get when someone says what others have been too afraid to whisper. You could almost hear the collective gasp across social media. People weren't ready. Not for this. Because this time, Candace wasn't reacting to some silly rumor or another recycled tabloid headline. No, she had her hands on something real, something that came straight from Meghan's own official statements. And the second she pointed it out, viewers realized there had been a clue sitting right in front of them this whole time, hiding in plain sight, and somehow nobody noticed. It wasn't something flashy or dramatic. It was subtle. It was quiet. It was one missing sentence, a single line every royal woman before Meghan had used, a line that confirmed one of the most sacred, traditional rules of royal birth.
She drops this, she goes on a podcast, she gets a lot of hate. People don't think you're authentic. Like, what do you have to say to people who don't think you're authentic?
And Meghan Markle? She didn't include it. Not once. And Candace knew exactly what that meant. She looked right into the camera, eyes steady, and said, "This isn't about hate. This is about honesty. Something here doesn't add up." For once, Meghan's army of defenders had nothing, not a single word, because this wasn't gossip. It wasn't online speculation. This was Meghan's own words coming back to haunt her. And that's when Candace dropped the detail that left people's jaws hanging.
She suffers from such a rare disorder.
So the palace already has that credibility that, hey, we put out something, but it's not us putting this news out. It is actually Harry and Meghan.
If you don't like her, it's not your fault. It's because she's extremely unlikable, okay? She has the non-it factor.
Every royal birth announcement for centuries, yes, centuries, includes the same simple line. The Duchess was safely delivered of a son or of a daughter. Just a factual confirmation that the royal mother physically gave birth, something essential to the line of succession. Diana said it. Kate said it. Sophie said it. Every royal woman before Meghan said it. But when it came to Meghan Markle, That one line vanished. Poof. Gone. Instead, Meghan's official announcement used one word that changed everything.
You go back and you look throughout Meghan Markle's entire career, she never wanted people to know that she was Black. She never wore that on her sleeve. She never spoke about her Blackness. If we had looked at her, I maybe would have assumed that she was Hispanic. No one would have ever guessed that she was Black. It was never relevant to where she wanted to be in her career.
The Duke and Duchess of Sussex welcomed a daughter. Welcomed, not delivered, not gave birth, not safely delivered. That single change, that one missing phrase, was all it took for Candace to see through the cracks. She immediately called it out. If Meghan actually gave birth, why avoid the sentence that confirms it? Why change the wording every royal woman before her followed? Why now? Those weren't hateful questions. They were logical, and that's what made them sting.
Meghan is a feminist. She's a true feminist, and that's why she's being awarded by Gloria Steinem. She's just a brave woman. And yeah, I don't understand why her podcast, her original one, didn't take off. I've listened to it. I definitely...
Because in the royal world, every word means something, especially when it comes to royal births. This isn't Hollywood. It's a centuries-old institution where nothing happens by accident. Birth announcements have protocols. Witnesses, doctors, signed confirmations. Yet, for Meghan, none of that happened. And that missing sentence, it became the first red flag. The spark that ignited a wildfire. Candace didn't stop there. She dove straight into Meghan's timeline, the part that had bothered people for years, and suddenly, when everything was laid side by side, the contradictions jumped off the screen. She played Meghan's clip where she said she gave birth 2 days earlier. Then she played Harry's clip saying it had been 2 weeks, 2 days, 2 weeks, both talking about the same moment. Candace paused the footage, leaned forward, and said, "Parents don't confuse the day their child was born."
Can't stand the authenticity, the inauthenticity. It has to stop. I tried with you, Meghan, really. You gotta pick a lane, you gotta stay in it, okay? That's all I'm saying.
With the information that we have, nowadays with that everybody's fact checking, nowadays that unfortunately for the monarchy, their credibility is shut. But it's shut because they have people and stories like these from Harry and Meghan Markle.
Trained actress. What she does is that she studies people. She's not a good actress, but she is a trained one.
You could feel the silence in the room, because who forgets that? Unless, and this was Candace's point, unless you're protecting a different version of the story. From there, she dissected everything: the secretive hospital talk, the bump changes that didn't make sense, the oddly rushed photo shoot where Archie barely moved. Why? Candace asked. Does every part of this timeline feel staged like a performance instead of a birth? And that question hit home. Because one contradiction might be an accident, but an entire timeline of contradictions? That's a pattern. Candace's tone shifted. No mockery, no laughter. She was serious now, holding documents. That's when things went from gossip to investigative. She brought out the U.S. birth certificate for Lilibet, and what she pointed out left even royal followers stunned. The state code on Meghan's birth document, it didn't match the state she claimed Lilibet was born in. Not seemed off, not look strange. It objectively didn't match. Candace tapped the paper. You can argue opinions, she said. You can't argue official state coding. She broke it down clearly. Every U.S. birth certificate has codes, the state identifier, the year, and the order of birth. And guess what? The code on Lilibet's document corresponded to Colorado, not California. Candace didn't scream conspiracy. She didn't call it fraud. She just asked what everyone else suddenly wondered: how does a baby born in Santa Barbara have a Colorado code? And that question, it froze people. Because now it wasn't about body language or rumors, it was about federal paperwork. This was official, and official documents don't make creative mistakes. People do. Candace leaned back, calm but sharp, and said, "This isn't gossip anymore. This is legal reality." She reminded everyone that America doesn't care about royal titles or palace traditions. The U.S. only cares about one thing: documentation. Legal, verified, consistent documentation. And when Candace started listing what every U.S. birth record should include: verified facility, doctor or midwife signature, correct state code, and matching records, you could practically hear the collective gulp across social media. Because none of that has ever been confirmed for either Archie or Lilibet. Not the hospital, not the doctor, not a single official statement, nothing. Candace didn't have to dramatize it. The facts spoke for themselves. She then said something that sent shivers down viewers' spines. If the documents don't match what Meghan told the public, the truth won't come from Buckingham Palace. It'll come from the IRS, the Social Security database, or the state records. and that can't be spun. The comment section went wild, because that line wasn't entertainment, that was law. Then came the sentence that hit like a hammer. The royal family might stay silent, the US government won't. And that's when this entire thing stopped being gossip and became something explosive. If you look at royal history, you'll see wording has always mattered. Those announcements weren't written by accident, they were guarded, approved, and sealed by palace officials. Safely delivered, that phrase wasn't just formality, it was proof. Proof that the child was born from the body of the royal mother, witnessed and confirmed. And now, for the first time, that proof was missing. Candace reminded her audience back in the day, births of heirs were treated almost like national security events. Witnesses were required, doctors had to sign, locations were verified. Everything had to be airtight because one small lie could change the entire line of succession. So, when Meghan's announcement simply said, "welcomed," it wasn't just poetic, it was suspicious. Candace's tone hardened. Every royal woman before her followed the rules, she said. Diana did, Kate did, even Sophie did. But Meghan, she rewrote the script literally. And that's what made this entire thing unravel. Because royal rules don't bend for anyone, not even for the Hollywood Duchess. As the clip rolled, Candace explained how the old rule existed to prevent fraud, yes, fraud. Centuries ago, women of royal blood had to deliver their babies in front of witnesses to confirm legitimacy. It might sound extreme now, but it was designed to protect the monarchy itself. So imagine suddenly, in 2021, no doctor's confirmation, no official witness, no traditional statement, no wording of "safely delivered," just silence. Candace paused, her voice calm but sharp. This isn't body language analysis or paparazzi speculation. This is paperwork. Federal paperwork. And paperwork doesn't lie. People in the live chat began flooding her comments. Wait, what does that mean? Is this real? And that's when Candace delivered another bombshell. If that birth certificate code doesn't match California, then the issue isn't royal protocol, it's federal accuracy. That line changed the entire tone of the conversation. This wasn't gossip about a baby bump anymore. It was about what happens when the story a duchess tells doesn't match the documents she files. Then, Candace connected the dots that everyone else had avoided. She pointed out that when birth records are inconsistent, it doesn't stay in tabloid territory, it crosses into U.S. legal jurisdiction. If a birth certificate is wrong, she said, it's not a royal scandal, it's an American legal problem. And suddenly, every viewer watching realized this wasn't going away quietly. Candace listed every item required for an official U.S. birth: verified hospital or midwife, consistent state coding, proper data cross-check with Social Security registration. And yet, none of those elements had ever been made public for Archie or Lilibet. No hospital name, no doctor confirmation, no signed statement, nothing. And that silence? That was louder than anything Meghan had ever said. Candace went further. She said, if the documents don't match, the truth won't come from tabloids or the palace, it'll come from databases. The IRS, Social Security, State of California. You can spin interviews, she said, but you can't spin government records. And that was when she hit the viral line, the one that ended up everywhere from TikTok to X. The royal family might stay silent, the US government won't. Those words hit like thunder. Because this wasn't about Meghan versus the monarchy anymore. It was about a duchess facing potential exposure through her own paperwork. Candace then dropped the quote that changed everything. If Meghan used a surrogate, it wouldn't have been a scandal. The scandal would be pretending she didn't. That's when jaws hit the floor. Because for years, that's the question people whispered, but no one dared say out loud. Candace said it calm, factual, and surgical. Royal law requires transparency. Surrogacy isn't forbidden. Lying about it is. And with that, the conversation shifted completely. The debate was no longer about photos or interviews. It was about royal succession law, something that has ruled the monarchy for centuries. Heirs to the throne must be born from the body of the royal mother. Publicly verified, officially witnessed, documented, every time. Without exception, Candace looked straight into the camera and said, for the first time in royal history, the palace cannot provide a witness, cannot provide a doctor, cannot confirm a location, cannot issue a statement confirming Meghan delivered either child. And that silence was deafening. Because when the palace can't or won't verify something that simple, the implication is terrifying. Candace's words cut through the noise like a knife. Surrogacy isn't the scandal, the cover-up would be. That one sentence set social media on fire. It wasn't cruel, it wasn't mocking, it was logical. And suddenly, people realized this wasn't about hate, it was about truth. Candace then turned her focus toward Buckingham Palace itself. If Meghan didn't follow protocol, fine, she said. But why is the palace pretending nothing's wrong? That question hit harder than any accusation. Because she was right, if royal law demands verification and it didn't happen, then the silence isn't Meghan's alone. It's shared. Candace didn't blink. This isn't about hating Meghan, she said softly. It's about the fact that every version of her story changes, and every detail that could prove it right is the one she refuses to share. Then came the line that burned through every social media platform. Either Meghan lied or the palace did, but someone did. And when she said it, the room fell silent. Because that was it. The truth laid bare. If everything were normal, everything would match the timeline, the wording, the records, the witnesses, but nothing matched. Not the documents, not the dates, not the palace protocol. Candace ended her show with one chilling prediction, not angry, not loud, just calm. This story won't stay buried. Someone's going to slip. Someone always does. And that, right there, is why the clip exploded online. Because Candace Owens didn't just talk, she touched the one nerve no one else dared touch. The truth doesn't fear documentation, she said, but lies always do.